I want more people to start cycling. Let's start with Ruby. It's my wish that I can be instrumental in getting more people to start. Can Hubballi roads become cyclist friendly? Hubballi roads are one of the toughest. Your two-wheelers will overtake you from both sides simultaneously. It's hell for cyclists. If Hubballi road becomes cyclist friendly, okay, let us say something happens on, everybody now believes in Narendra Modi, let us say he does something and roads become cyclist friendly. Will people ride? I don't know. Will city planners and citizens wake up before you already see the traffic situation in Hubballi. We used to complain only when we went to Bangalore. Now we are complaining right here in Hubballi. Okay. So 5 years down the line, it's going to be tough. It's going to be bad. This is what I'm looking forward to. In October, Hubballi Bicycle Club is arranging a 300-kilometer brevet. This is going to be a 20-hour ride, so it has to be, part of it has to be in the night, not possible otherwise. I'm looking forward to it. We have a ride planned to Chorlaghat for a long time now. It's long pending. We'll do that. A month or so back, myself and Narendra rode up to Kumbarla, but it was raining. We did not go up Handi Badainath. It's a 4-kilometer ride up the hills. Yeah, that's on this cards. We'll do that. And that's on my wish list. Let us see when that happens. Okay.
Next.
For somebody to spend so much time cycling, you have to thank people, otherwise it's impossible. My parents, my family, for letting me do things which are, you can see on their face that they consider you are doing crazy things, but they let you do it. The friends who got me started, Anand and Sona. My circle of friends in HPC. All the people who inspired me with their personal experiences. And most of all, Mother Nature, which I was blind to until my 50 years. Maybe on a vacation or so, but otherwise completely blind. That is, I have to thank.
Thank you.
I have a few pictures and maybe do a small demo. But I think there are.
You forgot the official dish of HPC.
In fact, one of the most nutritious things that you can have before cycling is
Uppit. Okay.
Okay, let me tell you this. When you do any endurance sport, the first roughly 2 hours, depending upon the intensity of the activity, you use up the stored carbohydrates, glycogen basically, in your muscles. Okay. Your body breaks down that and converts it to energy. Glycogen is the easiest material in the body that can be broken down. But if you want to cycle 4 hours, 6 hours, either you have to replenish the carbohydrates, or if you train your body, you can run on fat. If you look at any marathon runner or any endurance runner, they train their body to run on fat. 2 days before any endurance sport, they take complete rest. They don't engage in any physical activity. They do carbohydrate loading. They eat a lot of carbohydrates because they have to do that very fast and very quick in the first maybe 1 hour or so. But they train their body in such a way that once your carbohydrates are exhausted, basically what happens is your body switches off for a short time before it switches on to fat, because the metabolism is like that. Body doesn't break down fat first. Body is programmed to break down carbohydrates first. So for your body to switch to fat, there is a small amount of time. Sports people call it bonking out. You literally can't walk. Okay, but if you sustain that short bonk out period, You start again, basically. And it is more long lasting. You can run and you can cycle much better on fat than on nuts. So the controlling factor to switch smoothly from carbohydrates to fat is the heart rate. And that's why the people have the heart rate monitor. If you are able to sustain a heart rate of above 160 for about 1 minute, your brain sends a signal to your body saying, now carbohydrates are not enough, you please switch to fat. That's the signal, right? So you can train your body to, your mind, your brain, not mind, your brain to send that signal to your body. Okay. So Upit is the best. If you can stop somewhere, because it gets converted to energy very fast. So Upit is
From the health and the fitness point of view, that people say that using a gear bike would not add to any of the exercise kind of a thing in terms of making a fit person. Right? But what do you recommend? You want to use a geared one or non-geared one?
You have to use a geared one. A geared one allows you to ride without getting off the saddle. Suppose you are on an up and you ride a normal single speed cycle. You have to supply so much power, possibly you can't manage it.
Yeah.
When you shift a gear, basically what you are able to do is you are able to apply the same amount of force or lesser amount of force, but able to, your speed will come down.
I understand that, but you're still able to.
But you are able to sustain it. And the trick to cycling is when you shift the gears.
It's
all about gears.
Okay.
It will take you a month to learn.
Shifting the gears.
No, when to use which.
Okay.
When to use which.
That is the essence, is it?
That's the essence of cycling.
Okay.
You shift the gear too late.
Combination. 2, 8, 1.
Oh,
The trick in cycling is you should maintain the cadence, that is the RPM constant. Whether you are going up, down, flat, you have to maintain the cadence. So if you are going up and you have to maintain that RPM, you have to shift the gear down. You have to. It's called spinning. In the cycling terminology, it's called spinning. You have to spin. You'll go slow, but you have to see this repeated activity is very good for aerobics. That's how you train your heart to pump more powerfully. You are basically like you can train your leg muscles. You can train your heart muscles, essentially, because heart is a muscle after all. Okay. So you can train it.
So what I've seen is some children using cycles.
Yeah.
They're pedaling too fast, but they're not going too much.